In question 9, we're told that a sample of healthy human cells contains 4 cells, and after they were allowed to divide 5 times, notably using the same type of cell division every time, you ended up with 128 cells in the sample. We're then given a few statements, and assuming that no mutations occurred, which 2 of these statements must be correct? So here are our statements. Now the key part of this question is the fact that the division used the same type of cell division every time, and therefore would produce the same number of daughter cells at each stage. Now, having a look at our statements for a moment, which is always a good idea if you're stuck for what to do, have a look at them and think about which types of cell division we're being asked to distinguish between. So since we're being asked about the number of chromosomes, whether they were gametes, whether they were clones, etc., and particularly the last one, essentially just asking straight up, we're being asked to determine whether this is meiosis or mitosis. And given that we're being told that we go from 4 cells to 128 cells in a certain number of divisions, we can use the fact that there are 2 daughter cells in the case of mitosis and 4 daughter cells per division cycle in the case of meiosis. So, bearing all of that information in mind, what do you think the process described here is? Is it mitosis or meiosis? So in these 5 divisions, do we end up with 2 daughter cells each time or 4? Well, we can experiment. So we can say there must have been a total of 5 divisions ending up with 128 cells. Let's start with assuming that we are going with mitosis, so that's 2 daughter cells each time. So 4 going through that process would end up with 8 cells because there would be 2 daughter cells each. That goes to 16, to 32, to 64, to 128. So that works out. Whereas in the case of 4 daughter cells, that wouldn't result in 128 cells after 5 divisions. So we have our answer that it must be mitosis because there are 2 daughter cells with each division, and therefore we can tackle these statements, which are essentially determining between mitosis and meiosis. So with mitosis, we're producing a genetically identical daughter cell, which would have the same number of chromosomes, and indeed the same chromosomes, so that statement 1 is correct. Moving on, the cells were gametes. Well, that must be wrong because all gametes are haploid and are produced by meiosis, not mitosis. Moving on to 3, the cells would be clones of the original cells. Well, that's true with mitosis. And finally 4, this type of cell division is called meiosis. Well, no, it's mitosis. So we have 1 and 3 being correct, and therefore our answer is going to be option B. So again, in this question, having a look at our answers is a good way to guide you on what the question is really trying to address and how you can use the information given in order to find the answer. So our answer is option B.